Alrighty.
Well, I can...
Go ahead. You want me to, María, empiezo yo, empiezas tú, brevemente. Oh,
Como
sorry.
quiera.
I start with you, and then I'll start, and then I'll yield the floor to you. Is that okay?
Okay. Is that
Just
okay?
to take a background, guys, my name is Carlos Valencia. As you can see, I'm the director of COA, Connecting Worlds Abroad. I'm a native from Spain, grew up in Spain, but then study abroad changed my life. Went to the U.S. when I was in 1990. I'm old. So ended up, I went there just for a year. I was in Asheville, North Carolina, of all places. A family there, a host family, and I stayed there for a whole year, my last year of high school, and it completely changed my life. A bit too much for my parents, as far as my parents are concerned, but I ended up staying in the U.S. for 23 years. Did my undergrad there at UNC Asheville. Then I did my grad studies at a school that I know you love, which is UNC Chapel Hill. So I know you're very has a strong bond to UNC. I'm kidding. I know, but anyway, that's where I got my PhD. I taught at Wake Forest. I got my PhD in Spanish, basically, linguistics, literature, and then also undergrad in biology. But then life brought me back to Spain, to Sevilla, to direct a study abroad program, actually for Chapel Hill. And then we ended up creating my own company, and with folks and people that I've known through the years in academia and through people in other universities, we started having all kinds of different programs, language-oriented programs, many of them, and others not so much. I started working with state actually in 2000. I moved here in 2013. Around 2014, they already started, the Spanish department has started a program here, and I worked with them. And then since then, we've created another Spanish program for the summer, and we continued this relationship with Poole College of Management with a summer program that was just mostly oriented for business majors. And that's my trajectory. So there is our relationship to Poole and to Emily and to everybody over there. It's of a professional, but also a friendship. I consider that we don't have that many programs. We're not a huge company, but we're very much tailor things and adapt things to what the students and the departments and the schools need. And we try to cater to that. So we're very excited about this new program. They approached us and they said, hey, do you think that you could be interested in doing this? And back in time, we run a business program for Clemson University with internships. It was a semester-long program in which the students did. And that's how I encounter, and that's my first relationship with the company that Maria works for. So I started working with them. They were giving us, or we were exploring possibilities of their involvement in our internship program. But back in time, I used to place all the students. Then soon I realized finding internships for them, healthcare and business for Clemson students. But then soon I realized that it's actually not our main core. So we reached out to Maria's company, to Bassem, who's the director there, who's a friend of mine. And that's how this relationship with them developed, basically. Now when NC State, Emily and her team asked us, hey, would you be, could we start a program? There's interest there. Thanks to our relationship with Maria's company, we said, sure. I think I checked with them and they are qualified. And now Maria will take the floor and tell you what their company is all about, their relationship with us, and then hopefully we'll open the floor for questions.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Maria, as you can see on the screen. And I am working for the Student Mobility Group for more or less 3 years. We are a recruitment agency based in Seville, Spain, and we work mostly placing students not only in Spain, but in all Europe. We can manage almost all the countries you want, all the fields you want, and we will be very specific in your internship. We are working with partners such as Carlos companies, and I'm in charge of the whole internship process from the very beginning, since you are all placed on your companies. So I think we can start, or I don't know what you think, but maybe if you have any question about the process of the program, if you have any question about the internships, if you have any question at all, you can ask me. I'm glad to let you know.
Yeah, I know that I've gotten a lot of questions as the kind of acting advisor. So I guess, so when a student applies, they apply through NC State, and our office is the one who accepts these students and gives their information to you. So after it kind of leaves our office, what does that process look like on your side of things? How does the matching process work? Can you just provide us a quick run through of what that process looks like on the student side and kind of the work on your side as well to get them matched to an internship?
Of course. First of all, I will have to interview the students one by one because I need to know, I need to have a look at their CV and see if it's properly from the Spanish market. And if not, I will modify it myself, no worries. And then I will have to interview them because I would like to know their requirements. What I mean with requirements, maybe it's how many hours per day do they want to be in their internship, in which location, from which day, the duration, if they have, for example, a minimum employees on the company, all these kind of things. So after that, I will contact you or Carlos directly, and I will see if the candidate is eligible. If he's eligible from our side, then we will start with the process. This means I will contact all our database matching the profile of the students. For example, if a student wants to do the internship in the field of marketing, I will look for companies in the field of marketing that fulfills all the student requirement, not the contrary. It doesn't matter if the company doesn't have any open vacancy at the moment, but I will contact them because we collaborate that way. No matter the vacancies you have open, if I send you a possible intern, you might interview him and then accept him or not. So after that, I will inform the student itself and the coordinator of the interview. I won't be present in the interview because I have a lot of interviews all days and I cannot be present in all of them. But after that, I will do a follow-up. I mean, I will ask the student if he wants to continue with that company, if that company matches the requirement, and I will ask the company if they want to accept the candidate. If both company and students wants to accept the offer, then I will send you a letter of acceptance. This letter of acceptance contains all the information related to the company, such as number of hours, tasks developing during the internship, date of start, who's the manager, and so on. And it will be signed by the CEO of the company. So with this, the internship is confirmed. What happened, for example, if the candidate tell me, I'm not interested in this company because it doesn't match my requirements, then I will look for another company and start again the process until they found a company that matches really all the requirements the students have told me.
Which opens the door, I think, to what we experience with now. Of course, they have what we experienced when we were handling internships, guys, is that we did the interview with the students too. But what it boils down is that if a student says, "Look, I want to be an intern in marketing for the Sevilla soccer club, and that's all I'm accepting to do," obviously, it's Maria's hands and our possibility of trying to find that match, it'll be a lot harder than. So Maria has told me that usually what they do when they, she interviews you and then she finds companies and then she matches you with a company. The company interviews you, but sometimes it's common, Maria, correct me, that sometimes students do 2 or even 3 of those interviews until they are like within reason, they're satisfied. Say, yeah, I think this looks like a company that I'm interested in participating. But I assume you guys know that if you narrow the field too much and you say, no, again, I just want to work for Zara in Sevilla, and that's the only company that I just want fashion industry and just Zara, then obviously Maria will probably tell you. That's why the sort of thing that comes out in the interview, right, Maria, with you?
Yes, because we have to be realistic. I mean, I look for internships for the students, but you cannot tell me that you want to do an internship in Amazon, for example, because we cannot manage that kind of internships. But it's very common that the students, it depends on the profile of the students, but it's very common that they have between 2 and 3 companies interviews, more or less. And then if they got accepted on the 3 of them or the 2 of them, they can choose, which is even better.
Go ahead, Palmer.
So yeah, I did have one quick question, and that was, what are often the most challenging parts of the interview process for an international student?
Challenging part.
What kind of challenges am I going to be expecting when I'm going into the interview process for another Spanish company, or either with y'all? What kind of things should I expect?
They are going normally in an interview process in Spain. Normally, they will ask you about your background, your work background, if you have it, your studies. So you have to be very, very focused on your CV. It's like you are reading your CV, but just it's a normal conversation. They usually have the conversation in English, and in all the companies have people who speak English, so no problem by that. But normally you have to be prepared in terms of your studies, your background, and what do you expect in this internship? What do you want to be doing?
I think I should have absolutely no problem with that then.
Perfect. That's great.
And guys, we just to settle, to make sure that you know what we have agreed with Poole's College of Management. What we would like to do is to have an internship that you will get for sure between 30 and 35 hours a week, okay? And ideally, and then we could, but again, that would be between you and the company. A lot of our, ideally, if you might have, because of between 30 and 35, you might have Fridays afternoons off, because it's common here, even in Spain overall, in normal work weeks, Friday afternoons, they tend to be, even law firms, you name it, they tend to slow down. But just so you know, that's one requirement. And another requirement is English, that's just English, okay? That you do not have to speak any other language. Now, like Maria says, if you, Palmer, walk in an interview and say, guess what, I'm, native of English, and I speak fluent, I'm good with, I don't know, French and a little bit of Spanish. Well, obviously, whatever your talents are, obviously will probably open the floor for more companies to be able to, oh, that might be useful. But again, since you're going to have an interview, Palmer, or all of you, obviously, I'm just said because you mentioned it, with Maria first, then she'll be able to tell you, okay, then she'll get a much better idea of your needs, your possible matches, and then she'll go and be able to bring to the table 2 or 3 companies, hopefully, to interview you. Make sense? Am I said it right, Maria?
Yes, you said it perfectly. Because when I finish interviewing all the students, I make myself an idea of which companies I'm going to choose for them. For that reason, it's really important that they have a personal interview with the students applying for this program.
And I had one more question, and that was one of the most valued skills in a lot of American internships here is leadership, and I see that a lot. They're always looking for it on resume, leading from the front, and confident attitude. Would you say that carries as well in Europe?
In Europe, the most important thing, in my experience, is that you show that you're a proactive person, that you really want to do an internship because you think it's good for your future, and you're going to bring the team fresh air, new ideas, and a new culture.
Yeah, I mean, with my little experience, basically, in the job market, remember guys, I was in the US and then I came here 10 years ago. I would say probably interns, and I don't know if Maria agrees, like you said, they don't, I would say internships are not as structured as they would be in the US, but also the interaction with people at the internship place here with the people, society as a whole, even in the business itself, it might be a lot richer because you might be, okay, this is your job. This is what you're going to be doing as an internship. And just because you develop friendships or a good relationship during their internship, you might end up doing many other things that are not strictly related to your internship. In other words, I think that personal skills, more than the leadership, more just the interaction and cultural interaction, and like Maria said, what you bring to the table as someone from another culture with other experiences, another background, is what might make you interesting. It might open a lot of doors within the company, whatever it is, that might end up you doing things that you would never dream of doing in an internship in the US, just because in the US, this is your role. As an intern, this is what you're doing, and that's it. While here, I think you might be able to thrive a lot more. And I don't know if that's the case. Certainly in healthcare, that happens all the time.
Yes, that happens all the time. You're right.
I have a question from a student who wasn't able to attend today. They sent me an email to ask this question. This specific student is interested in business and education. So would there be a way for him to receive an internship that is related to both business and education? And he's more so thinking on a higher education side, not elementary or primary. Would that be something that you think, Maria, might be doable to merge his interests?
I think so, because we have been dealing so much with teaching and education, and I'm sure I can find, as this is a personalized search, I'm doing this search starting from zero. I think I can find something relating to both fields.
Thanks.
Keep in mind also, Emily, I don't know, you might want to tell the student, but here in Sevilla, we have Loyola universities here, the UPO, Universidad Pablo de Olavide, which is another big public one besides the University of Seville. It's here. We have EUSA, who's a private university, which we work with and we have a relationship with, and they have a master's in business and MBA and all that. So there's several, if I can think right off the bat, 3 or 4 big institutions which might be open to, and I'm just thinking out loud really, that Seville does have a series of big universities or higher ed institutions through which Maria, most likely with companies tied to them or in that side of respect, might be also helpful for her to know that is not just a small city with just one school.
Yes, we have a lot of options.
Another question I had, again, just from getting questions from students as I've worked with them, is I think you mentioned, so after we look at their application, we pass it to you, you'll determine eligibility. What are things that would make a student ineligible for the program?
Normally, to have a specific field such as health, law, and engineering, it depends. But normally we cannot apply for that internship because this kind of internship are made by themselves. So these fields are not possible. To be underage is good. I mean, you can be underage, but in that case, I will need to have a certificate from their parents.
That's 18 here in Spain, by the way.
In 18, yes, sorry.
It's not 21. So basically, if you're under 18, probably you need something from your parents.
From your parents,
yes. In our experience, I mean, we've placed some students in law firms, but it's always been through personal relationships of friendship that I know a partner there, and it's worked out. So I wouldn't, but again, I would say, Emily, that most likely all your students would be business, like finance, marketing, think, right? Not necessarily healthcare or law, right? Correct. Okay. So
Your
Maria,
fields are doable.
so yeah, so Maria, the image not being eligible for this, which you bring a good point, Emily, because I've also told Maria, you accept the students into the program. And obviously
Yes.
at the end of the day, they have to interview with Maria. But again, just it seems like unless it's within those fields that they would not be able to place you. Otherwise, like I told Maria, the people that accept the students are you all. You accept them, and then if they're just within, if they're business students, they should be fine with Maria accepting them, basically.
Thank you. Before I ask another question, wanted to make sure that none of the students on the call had any additional questions. And Babina, I know you came in a little bit later, but I will send you the recording because I know you probably have stuff to do. Okay. I guess my question might be more geared towards Carlos, as it has to do more with housing. Could you tell us a little bit more about kind of the housing situation and transportation in Sevilla?
Yeah, well, starting with transportation, you got, as part of the program, you will get that transportation card. And on our end, it's a very good question, because we are not totally, when I say we is our company, totally just hands off. No. From day one, for example, I already worked with Maria that we would like to accompany each one of you on the first day, if not accompany, or go personally give you to get to this place, you have a welcome dinner with us. We know you by name. We know, and we're behind you. So that means you'll get your orientation with us. You'll get a health safety orientation with us. You'll get your transportations with us, and all the different ways of you getting back and forth from your dorm to your internship. We'll know that way ahead of time, and we'll use, and they say, okay, you can get this bus, and we'll do all we can to actually accompany you the first day. So you don't feel, well, usually we recommend, if you get here, I believe it's a Friday, that's when it is, and your internship, the first day should be that June 3rd. I think that's what it is, that following Monday. So anyway, we're behind you. We work with you. We give you all the, usually public transportations, guys. I don't know if you've been in Europe, you've been in Spain. It works like a charm. I mean, you have tons of options of buses and bicycles, extremely cheap. Sevilla is super flat. So as far as moving from one part, there's a subway, there's a tram, and obviously there's Ubers, but I would not want you guys to spend any money, or just unless you're last minute kind of thing. But I don't think you should have, like someone is saying, it is much more efficient than the Wolf Line. It's extremely efficient. You have tons of options. Your residence hall is in one of the main, if not the biggest avenue, or here in Sevilla, which is Avenida de la Palmera. And you're in your residence hall, you have your private rooms. You also have dining facilities there. You have a pool, which you're lucky I don't. I don't know if you've shared with Emily, the website for them to see the residence hall. But basically, within your room, you also have a kitchenette. The place has a little movie theater. So these dorms that they've built here in the last, I think that dorm was built maybe 4 or 5 years ago. They're like brand new, and again, is in one of the big arteries of Sevilla. So you have great transportation going through there at all times. In other words, I think you'll be fully covered. We'll give you the specific instructions how to get to and from your dorm to your internship site, because we'll get that ahead of time. We'll get it all ready and prep for you. You'll have your transportation card, and we'll walk you through it. So when it comes to that, and when it comes to our ideas to meet with you, I will meet with you once every 2 weeks to basically get not so much like I've told Maria, that everything that is related to your internship specific things, like, I'm liking this, I'm liking that. I'd like for you to have, and I'll make sure that you guys know that in the orientation, you'll have total communication with Maria. and that's for your intern. But for everything else, when I meet with you, I'll have specific tasks that we accomplish when we'll meet together. No more like, hey, how is it going? But I would like, hopefully, to be able for you guys to keep a journal that I'll have it all ready for you in an Excel. Because if you document everything that you do, what things are you learning? I think you guys are taking a class too, right, Emily? They're tied to a class, correct? There you go.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
what, yeah, but I'm thinking that hopefully the class will do that for you. If not, we'll try to tell you to, because otherwise in the future, companies in everywhere, grad schools, whatever you go, they don't really care to say, oh, I've done 100+ hours in Spain. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, what did you learn there? What is it that you got out of that? Not just, oh, not so much the projects, but the cultural experience tied to this internship in a business in overseas. That's what they value mostly. But unless you write these things down, or those kinds of things, feelings, experience, learning outcomes, which I assume your class will make you do, but if not, we'll also facilitate that in order for you to be able to use this experience 2 years down the road. And unless you have it written down, you will forget. And that's the kind of thing we'll like to do when I meet with you every 2 weeks, which you don't need to meet any more than that, but we're always available. Sorry if I ramble a bit, Emily.
Oh, no, you're perfect. Just for clarification for students, the credits, the course would be M299, and that would be 6 credits worth of an internship that would go under free elective on your degree audit. And then Carlos, is it NODIS that we ended up landing on for the residence hall?
It's going to be Xior with XI Xior. That's the one that I think we're going to be doing it. Because the NODIS, we did not, basically, I think they got a better dining facilities. I think their breakfast is going to be a lot better. And that's the one that I have in the books. That's the one you got, Emily? Because I know we work with NODIS with Richmond, University of Richmond, but I'm almost sure because I talked to Xior because I like to move them there because it's not so big of a deal this time around that they are. Yes, for sure, Emily, because that's where the first marketing group is staying too.
Okay.
They're staying at Xior. Yeah. The difference is that these guys, through the whole time, everybody, basically, if a student is already participating in the first program, they would not have to move. They'll be in the same place. Vale? They'll already be there. They'll have their own, they'll have their single rooms and all that, which I think that makes a difference. Yep. Anything else, guys? Emma, Max, Mia, Babina, and Palmer, or Emily. Anything else?
No questions from me.
I've got about all I had, and you guys have done a great job answering ones before I even got to ask them. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. By the way, something Maria hasn't said, because I guess she didn't want to ramble too much, but their company not only specializes in placing students like you all, undergrads, a big part of their business, and correct me if I'm wrong, Maria, is also they've been placing professionals too, people that just graduated or already have some experience from all European countries. So their numbers are absurd, but they have so many. I think they pretty much are the biggest one as far as internship goes, placements in Spain. But they started working with groups and US students, undergrads, which I think that's what made it so attractive, because beforehand they usually only work with professionals, people that already graduated, which wasn't your case. But now, against Maria, I don't know how many groups you've been working with groups now for these last 3 years, right?
Yes, I'm the one who handles groups. I've been doing this for the last 3 years, and only for 2024, I have planned 25 groups.
All right. Already 25 groups of students. Yep. So they're becoming, again, I think they work really well and they can do things that we can't. So that's why we work with them. But again, at the end of the day, we are here, your safety net too, for everything, for healthcare. And by the way, you'll be getting information also about, I don't know if you know, but as part of your experience, you can also participate in trips and cultural activities and all that we'll be letting you know. If you want to, part of your internships, you just do your internships. And you're committed 30 to 35 hours, but I bet Maria would say that, let's say if you come to an agreement and you're okay in a company, they might let you do more. So things are fluid as long as you fit well and you are doing okay there. That's the objective.
Carlos, and Maria. Well, I guess if we don't have any other questions, we'll go ahead and end it here. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me at Poole Global, and I can pass, if I don't know the answer, I can pass the
Please
question
share,
along.
Emily, and feel free to share my email and Maria's email with them, so they can bypass and they can, anything specific about the city, anything. Please, guys, that's why we try to do everything tailor-made and personalized. It's going to be, as we capped this program at 10. Hopefully they know, right, Emily? We capped this program at 10. It's and because we want to make it be as personalized as possible. So anything that your parents, anything that you might want to extra information, please don't hesitate. Please ask. We much rather you ask than just apply for something or even that you're not sure about.
Yeah. And then one last thing, just for the students, the application deadline, we did move it to December 10th. We had some issues with the application. So you have 5 days to get your application in if you submitted it already. Yeah, so we had a little bit of issues on our side with the application. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Sorry, I was just reading a message. And then lost my train of thought.
But they can still apply, right? They can still apply, right?
Yes, yeah. So you can still apply. You can apply after the 10th. That's just our early action deadline. So we can accept you after the 10th. But after that, we have to wait until February 7th to accept you. So if you're able to get it by December 10th, please get it by December 10th. And with that, also make sure you make an advising appointment, because that is part of the application process. And if you need help, there's not a time that you can see, reach out to me and I will make sure that you get one done. And then we can thank you so much, Maria and Carlos, and all the students for your time. Palmer, sorry, I had a question. So if you want to stay on, that's perfectly fine. I can talk to you one-on-one. But thank you guys so much for joining. I will send you all this recording as well as posting it on our website. But thank you for your time, Carlos and Maria. I know it's feeding into your siesta and students.
Yeah, now I got to take my kids to the park. So thank you guys, and I hope good luck on exams. I know how it is. Don't take them too seriously. Life is more important than just exams. But we'll hopefully see you here. If you apply for either one of the programs, we'll be here. We'll be really excited about this new program anyway. So this, I think, is gonna jumpstart something very special. So thank you, and please don't hesitate to reach out. And muchas gracias, Maria.
Nada, gracias a ti. Thank you all for having me. And I hope to see you soon again.
All right, Emily. Well, thank you guys. Hey, and Merry Christmas, by the way.